turn that around. Do I have to be that zoomed in? Let's try there for right now. Depends on the items. Welcome in. Let me just pull up my iPad, and then I'm going to start with pre-bids, and then we can just go down whatever I pull out of the tote, unless you have requests. Let me get this open. Hopefully everyone's having a good morning. Today's the first day of school, so I'm actually home alone today. Let me pull up this show. Okay. So I do have a couple pre-bids. We're going to go through those first. And then if you guys have requests or anything like that, just let me know. Okay, so what was the first one? Christmas. Okay, so this Christmas, there's about almost a pound, I think I said. Let me just pull that up really quick. I think it's like the first thing on the list, actually. Yes. Okay, here we go. Is it? Yes. So I'm just going to show individually. Like I said, this was like crafting stuff that my grandma had. She does have some projects that she did. Some of this is that fabric that she had left over, but there's good amounts of fabric still left. We have some white here, and they do have fuzzies from all the different fabrics on it. You get a little bit of holly here. Any cutter quilts. What do you mean by that? Because I'm new to all this. I do have fabrics that are like cut, possibly ready for quilting, but I'm not sure what you mean by that. Everything is preloaded, so if you want to look through there, and if you see what you think you're talking about, you can ask me and I can look at it. I'm new to this. I literally a lot of this stuff is from my grandma. She passed in 2001, and it's just been sitting in a tote. I haven't used it. I need to get rid of it. I'm not really sure technicalities on certain craft things, so I'll try to figure it out, but like I said, everything's preloaded, so if there is something in there that you do see that might be that. Old tattered quilts that you cut and make items. I don't have any old tattered quilts at the moment. I have a bunch of different like fabric pieces and things like that. Like kind of like this. That are in there. If you want to look at those, we can do that. I don't think I have actual quilts though. Here's some, I think this is more like a felt. We got some green there. There is some canvas red here. There's a good section of it. These are really good for crafts if you're quilting, anything like that. There's a little bit of red here. This turns out more orange on the screen, but it's not really that orange. It's like a bright red. We have some green and white striped here. Like I said, there is some cutouts. She was using them for different crafts. She did have some squares that she cut out of things. She would make a bunch of different things. This one isn't as bright red as it is on the screen. This one's like a little darker red. It has those gold dots to them. There's a bunch of that one there. You have some darker red here. This is showing up more, I don't even know what to call it on the screen. This is like a darker, almost like a dark maroon or like a dark maroon brown. Like it's darker than it shows up on the screen. But there's a good amount of that, and then it folds over again. I'm just not going to be able to show it all on screen here. There's some green here, darker green. And these are all different types of fabrics. I'm not sure what the fabrics are exactly made out of. This one's my favorite. This one has the angels. There's a good section of this one. And then it folds out again. I don't have measurements on most of these. Some of the fleece and stuff that I just added, I do have measurements for those, but. And then the big thing is that she made like a Christmas skirt, or I don't know if this is supposed to be an apron or like a tree skirt, but I'm gonna, like, it's all hemmed around the edge here, but obviously if you want to use it for something else, there's the Santas, there's the holly. It's a pretty good piece that she already kind of sewed together. If you want to just make it into like your own apron or a dress or something, you could do that. Or like I said, you could take it apart. It has the Santas and the holly. And that is the Christmas bunch of fabric that we have. So I'm going to turn that back over. And I think it's about £1. I'm going to run it. We do have one pre-bid already on it. Starting now, thank you for that pre-bid. If you have a lot of Christmas stuff coming up, this is definitely good for that. Welcome in. If you want to check out the store, everything is preloaded. I gotta change that time. That time's a little long. Congratulations, Julie. That's coming to you. Okay. So let me just put that back in his bag. And it's smart. Okay. Okay, so the next pre-bid, I'm going to work on pre-bids, and then I can do requests after that. If anyone has anything, is this one's a magazine. Let me just find it. I have a whole bunch of these type of magazines, so I just got to find the right one. I think it's this one. Is this the one? I believe. Super Lane has a pre-bid. Let's do that. Craft. Pin that one. Okay. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, or no, because we're going to look through it. Do I have any more cotton Christmas fabric? I don't believe, I'm not sure what the fabrics are. I don't believe any of these are Christmassy. I'm looking through the scrap bags. A lot of them are, there's floral. I have some felt that has like red and green and white in it. That's felt though. I'm not really seeing any more really red. There's dark greens in one of these. The fabric pieces number 4 has some darker greens and stuff in it, but not really Christmas themed. I have a lot of Christmas patterns and stuff in there though, but I'm not really seeing fabric wise. If you want to look through the store, if you see maybe there's a bag of fabric, I can go through all the fabrics here after I do this pre-bid. And we can see what there is. But this is crafts and things. It has a bunch of different, it has the double wedding ring pattern in crochet. It has a bunch of home decor, paint, sew, glue, quilt. We'll just take a quick look through this. A lot of these are advertisements, and they show like how other people did crafts. It does have back to basics, like how to read yarn labels, bright ideas, how to make things. I'm just going to flip through it really quick. There is, I haven't really looked at these things. These might be different. Like this one has cross stitch, how to do that. What do you call it? Bib. There's other, here's the Afghan, the wedding ring Afghan. There's country kittens. You can make your own country doll look-alike. It tells you how to make it with like somebody's face on it if you want to. There's a classic Afghan. There's a bunch of different instructions in here. Rug hook and heart pillow, how to paint to make this lamp over here. There's the needlepoint hearts. And it gives all the patterns in here. There's quilting in here. There's, it looks like crochet for like pillow covers. And then, like I said, they have the patterns still all in here. And then it tells you like how to make jewelry hangers, cross stitch, how to make clothing, shrink art, knit a comfort chicken. If you know how to knit, there's a bunch of different stuff. Rag shag calypso jacket. What is this? Small stuff. And there was, I did see the patterns for some of these in there. Let's see if there's anything. You might have to just look through this. How to make dolls for Christmas. And there's like how to make the dolls. You make them out of clothespins. And then jewelry hanger. Some of these they have the picture on one and something else on the other. And then here's more stuff on painting, how to paint. It's got a bunch of different stuff. There's notes on like different ribbon widths and like what they're good for. Bunch of stuff I probably accidentally skipped over, but I'm gonna run this. This is only $3. It's from 1988. Thank you for that pre-bid. If you're into a bunch of different crafting, there's stuff in there to do with different fabrics, painting, crocheting, whole bunch of different things going on in this book. But 1988 on this one. And I do have a bunch of stuff in, a lot of the books are from like, I think the oldest ones are like from the 1940s up until about 2000. That's when she started having her Alzheimer's and she passed in 2001. Oh, thank you. Congratulations, Super Lane. That's coming to you. Let me just put that off to the side. Okay, let me just double check. I got all pre-bids done before. Okay, so I did. Like I said, I have a bunch of different fabrics. We can go through those. I do have everything pre-loaded into the store. If you guys have any requests, please let me know. Let me just start pulling from the top. And if you guys, like I said, if you have requests, I'll go through those. I have some fabric pieces here. I think I've gotten them to be about £1 each for the bags. Let me just, I have one more. There it is. So we can just go through these really quick. This is number 1. Let me write up fabric. Fabric. And like I said, I have the measure, or I have them on the scale in the picture. These are about £1 each, maybe a little bit more. Some of them have like these. This is, I don't know what this was. This is some scrap fabric. It's just red. Let me put it over here. There is some of this tie. It almost looks like a tie-dye pink. There's little squares of these. Whoever had this was doing quilting, so they do have certain shapes already cut out. There's a bunch of strips for their edges and stuff like that in different colors. There's these reds. There's some floral reds. There is, it looks like some green florals. There's white little florals there. There are bigger scraps of pieces where they hadn't gotten to their squares or rectangles or whatever shapes they were making. So we have some of these colors in this one. These are just little, like if you are doing quilting, these would be perfect for little squares, little, there's this one. It's like a blue. There's 2 of these. They do fold out. So there are bigger pieces. Oh, that one actually has, you could just cut that down the middle and have your squares. This one, is this one cut too? Yeah. Okay, so these were like ready for squares or bigger parts of the quilt. That one's not cut. But you're getting all these different little pieces of fabric. with this bag. This is a bigger piece. This one has the red and like a cream or like an off. This one's a bigger. They hadn't gotten to this one yet for crafting. These look like grapes, if you can see that. They were putting these into strips. What does that say? Canterbury by Country Essentials. There's a couple strips here of this. I don't know if they were doing squares with that one. Then we have some lighter florals. It looks like. Here's another strip. They had a lot of strips for like edging and stuff. I do know that sometimes they do have, yeah, here. They were trying to do some quilting. So there are some parts that are already sewn together. Like these two pieces. This is leftover quilting supplies, I'm guessing. The person didn't get to do all of it, but this has like a green with a red floral. And there's a bunch of that. There's some squares, there's some bigger pieces. Excuse me. And then they do have, this is all one bag, guys. Like I said, they were doing some quilting, so there is some fabric that is sewn together. This has like a pink with a blue floral. Here's some more of that. The pink and the blue floral. Here's some strips of the blue and some squares of the blue. More of these. A bunch of that. And then there's more of that. Like, it's like a dusty rose, a dark dusty rose. There's some strips, some squares. And then there's a bigger section here of just that dusty rose. I'm not going to unfold it completely, but that's the first bag of fabric. You get all of those different patterns, colors. There's strips, there's bigger pieces. So if you're into quilting, I'm going to run that. Like I said, this is about a pound. I think it's over a pound. We're going to run this one really quick. Where did I just put the bag for that? It's up. Okay, thank you for looking at that one. If you guys are just joining us, I'm going through some of the fabric pieces. If you guys want to look through the store, if you have any requests, please let me know. Put it in the comments. I went through most of the pre-bids. Let me just double check. There's none. Yeah, I did the pre-bids already. So if you have requests, just put them in the comments and I will pull them up. I have everything preloaded. Okay, so number 2. Let's go back here. And this one I think is mostly strips for quilting. There are some other pieces. So if you want pre-cut strips, there is a whole bunch here. This one came to just a little bit over a pound. Let's see here. So we have some blues. You have some of those red florals. There's like this darker, I don't know what you call it, maybe a tile kind of looking thing. There is, oh, I forget what this is called. Some of it is sewn together. Like I said, they were working on a project. I forget what this is called. But you have some of that in there. Some more light blues. This is like a greenish blue with floral on it. Is that called paisley? Is this called paisley? I can't remember. They were definitely working on something here, but I'm sure if you wanted to take it apart. Like I said, a lot of these are pre-cut for they were working on quilting. Or that's even a triangle. You could make your own quilt or pillow, or more strips of that tan color. There's more of this with that lighter blue. They're not sewn together. These are just clumped together. More tan. More of that blue floral. And then she even started adding some of this red to it for the project. But there are extra strips here if you just need little strips on your quilt. So many different colors. And then there's like a darker red, a bunch of darker red here. Let me get that fuzzy off there. Here's a bunch clumped together again. There's like a darker, it's like a red with like floral. A bunch of this seems to be the same pattern. It's that floral, the paisley, I call it paisley. I don't know if that's what it is, but more of that floral and that red. Seems to be a bunch of that. I tried to keep, when I was going through these fabrics, I tried to keep the colors together. So if you had one project or wanted to continue what they were doing, you could kind of stick with the same coloration they were doing. There's a bunch of this red. And then there's even some darker red in here that looks like maybe like a navy blue in the back. There's a little white with red. More of that. Any Mary Maxim sweater patterns? I don't believe so. If you look through my store, everything is preloaded. I can't remember the name of some of the pattern. I know I have Lacey's in there. I don't think I've seen Mary Maxim, but you can double check in the store. Everything is preloaded. Oh, here's a different pattern. It's a little darker red with like a goldish brown. Yeah. And this is more of that floral. And then there's a bunch of this blue. So if you guys are looking for like quilting strips in certain colors, or if you have little projects that could use something like this, this is number 2. I'm going to run it. You're welcome. This one seems to have floral and red and blue. Thank you guys for looking at that one. Number 3. I'm just going to double check in between that people aren't pre-bidding. Nope. Okay. I'm caught up. Number 3. So this one looks like it has more blues and tans and stuff like that. I do want to point out this one has like it does have some strips. There's like this, there's bigger pieces mixed in with this, so I'm not sure what you would call this design. But we have that. There's that. These are blue. What does this one say? Something threads. If I see a label on the fabric, I try to read them just so we have an awareness. That almost looks like scales or bubbles. We have a little bit of this blue with like a floral dot. There's a light gray. There's some squares for quilting. That one has, I don't even know what, I'm not sure what that is. Here's more of the bubbles in the gray, or these are ready for squares if you want to do squares. There's some squares here cut. There's floral. And then you have bigger chunks of tan. This one kind of almost has like, I don't know what to call it, airbrush or like a leather kind of look to it, but it's not. It's obviously just fabric. Bigger sections of those. This one has fuzzies all over it, but and then we do have a bigger, look at this one. I almost thought those were eyes in the flowers. But you have a bigger section of this. Ooh, this one even has, it doesn't say what it is though. And then they have more of their quilting stuff where they were getting ready to do a project, it looks like. Some strips. Those are really pretty, those pansies. I don't know if you can see that, but it has like a metallic fleck to it. That little one. Here is, what does this one say? Faye Burgos for Marcus. These are squares. These are pansies. We have some more strips for like edging or parts of a quilt. Light purple. There's that flower with that metallic, I don't know if you can tell. It has a metallic thing around the edge of the flowers. It's very pretty. I wish there was a bigger section of that. More of this. Little piece of that. These are just quilting bundles. So if you want to quilt and you need little squares or something, these are perfect. Some more of that pansy, more purple. We got some more teal, blue. I'm not sure what that design is. It's just geometric maybe. There are bigger sections of this, so if you want to make a different size, well, that one's all folded in on itself. What? There we go. So if you want to make your own squares, you need a bigger size square. There's those ones. Here's some more cut up already. And then you do have a bigger section here of, look at this. This is so pretty. I swear I've seen like a tablecloth of this, but there's a huge section of this one. It just keeps unfolding and unfolding and unfolding. So if you needed a bigger piece of fabric, but there's all of that. You have blues, tans, florals, purples, and a little bit of green in there. We're going to run this one. And I'm going to do my little announcement. I got to share this out because I need to let my mod know I'm in here. He might not be able to jump in, but we'll still send it to him. He's been very busy though. Okay. We're almost done with these fabric pieces. I do have other like fleece and stuff like that too. Okay, so this one has bigger pieces. There are some squares in this, but this is a bigger, I know somebody was looking for Christmas. I don't know if this would be Christmassy, but it has like greens in here. There are some strips. Like I said, this was somebody's quilting. This was someone's quilting stuff that they wanted. Let me just pin. Okay, so here's some squares. There's like the tans, different fabrics. That one's like a little strip. Or no, it's folded. I think that's really pretty. You can see that. It has like the tan and red. Here's some more of that light with the red on it. Welcome in. You you see anything in the store, if you have requests, let me know. I'm just kind of going through the fabric right now. These are from somebody who was trying to quilt. They did some cutouts. They have some bigger pieces, but a lot of them are squares or strips. There's this one. But if you have requests, I can go through those too. This one's really pretty. This is like a blue, navy blue with like the leaves. I'm not sure if these are olives. It's very dark. That's even more darker in blue than that. More of that. Got some of that. Like I said, they made strips as well. This one has like a palm leaf kind of thing. Here's some squares that they were going to make into a quilt, it looks like. You got some browns, reds. Oh, that brown is upside down. Tans. Floral. And then this one, which I don't know what that is. This is the one I called tile. Here's some more squares. Let me get them out. There's the olive one, more of the navy with the florals. I call that paisley, but I don't know if that is. I can't think of the name of that right now. And then are these upside down? Yes. Okay, so these are red. These are gorgeous. Look at that red. There are definitely squares in here. There's some red dots. This is more like harvest. This would be more like fall right now. There is, that looks like floral. More of the red floral. I'm not sure what you would call that. More red floral. Here's some bigger strips that can be turned into squares. You got more of that red. A bunch of different reds in here. So you got navies, you got reds and tans so far. There's a whole bunch here. Florals. And whatever that is. Welcome in. This one has a, ooh, here's a bigger piece. Here's a green. This is really pretty green. And it does fold out, so this one's bigger if you needed to bigger pieces instead of just the squares. I'm not sure what that design is. Just like floral or like leaves or something. I'm not sure. What does this say? Connecting threads. So it seems like they have a lot of fabric from Connecting Threads. But there's a whole bunch of different green strips here. This is definitely something ready for someone who quilts that needs maybe pre-cut stuff. There's this green with it almost looks like a brown or like a brownish red design going on through it. There's a bigger section of that one. What is that one? Something Afternoon by Connecting Threads. Copyright 2010. And then we have that one, but in brown, or like a brownish red. About, what is it called? Golden Afternoon. There's a good section of that one. And then we have another one. This is Something Summer, 2009-2010 from Connecting Threads as well. It looks like they have something folded in here in between. So give me a second. So I have this brown and just mixed in with it. But they're about the same size of pieces. This one is called Aquaterra, but they're made by Connecting Threads as well. So that's this bag. Like I said, if you're quilting, if you need bigger pieces, squares, strips, this one's got a bunch in here. There's a lot of greens, browns, and some reds. There is a little bit of the navy blues, different navy blues and the browns in there. But I'm going to run this one. Running now. It's about a pound. I think the picture shows it's a little over by like 0.5 ounces. But this is the one with like the bigger pieces in it, and it also has a bunch of squares, where the other ones kind of had like more strips and things like that in it for quilting. But thank you for looking at that one. If you guys want to check out my store, if you have any if you have requests, let me know. There's also a bunch in my bin. My house is so quiet today. My kid went off to school today, first day of school, and it's so quiet. Usually I have her running upstairs or doing something like that, and today it's just quiet. Okay, I'm just going to pull off what's at the top of the thing, which is my fleeces next. So let's get through some of this fleece. Ooh. These are strips, but they're bigger sizes. Okay, so I do have, switch it over. Okay, here we go. So I have this big tan fleece here. It is 62 inches by 21 inches. I did measure these ones because this is all one piece. It's like this, I think that's what they call this fleece. It's really soft. It is so soft, but it is like a tan. It shows up darker than what's on the screen. The screen kind of washes it out a little bit, but this is so soft. And it folds out and folds out. But I'm going to run. It's a good section of it. 62 inches by 21 across. Okay, thank you for looking at that one. Welcome in, everyone. And let me just put this back, and we'll move on to the next one. I do have a whole store full, so if you guys are looking for something, I have quilting stuff, I have crochet, knitting, a lot of it's patterns. There are some like cross stitch, embroidery, things like that. Some of the books, some of the magazines I have extra stuff like painting and other random things like that, and they have patterns in them. Let's do this one. I like this pattern. I just think this is so pretty. So this is kind of like a tan. And I do have two pieces here. Let me just click on this because details. So the bigger piece is 58 inches by 8 inches, and then there's a couple smaller scraps. Let me get the fuzzies off. So like I said, there is this bigger strip, but then you also have these couple smaller pieces. This would almost be good as like a scarf if you did like a little hemming to it, or you could even add like a pocket. Like if you did this as a scarf and then had like a little hand pocket or something on one side. And then, like I said, there are those two little pieces. But I'm going to put that like that. These are so soft. I'm going to run this one. Running now. And then after this, I think I might have to take a little break. I have to run and grab something because I forgot my water. Okay, I'm going to pin something from the buy now. Why is it saying there's no buy nows? Import from inventory. I definitely moved like 10 things in here. Did I move it to the wrong show? I probably moved it to the wrong show. But they're not even showing up in here. Okay. Is anyone seeing anything in the buy now? Because it's supposed to have, yeah. Why is it saying 0 things from buy now? There we go. There was like a period in the search bar. My bad. Like I was saying, everything in the store is preloaded. So if you have any requests, please let me know. I have a bunch of different crafting stuff. A lot of it is patterns and things like that. So if you're looking for something to do, just let me know. I'm going to do this one really quick. Okay, so this is purple fleece. It's like a tie-dye. It does look like they did some type of project here, almost like a neck warmer or something. It's a big tube. I'm not sure what, but you could probably take that apart if you needed to. But there is the bigger section here. There's little pieces. Let me get the little pieces out. What was this size? Did I put the size of this? No. Okay, so this one is, let me get my measuring, this bigger piece here. Get my yardstick out. So it's almost 30. It's like 29. So it's almost 60 inches long. This would be a good scarf too. Maybe she was making scarves. And then it's about 8.5 inches across in that one section. So this would be a beautiful like scarf for the, and you have extra pieces here. We're gonna run this one. I'm gonna do my announcement really quick. And I'm gonna pin something really quick. I have to go grab my water. I'm gonna pin something from the bin. I hand crochet things, and I made him recently. So I'm just going to pin him while I go grab my water. If you want to check out the store, if you have any requests from there, please let me know, and I will get to them as soon as I get back. Okay. Okay. I am back. Thank you guys for giving me that second to do that. So I have that frog there. I do have hand crocheted things. I think I have a couple in there that I did make. I'm going to add more later. I have done bags, totes, things like that. Like I said, I do crochet. I just don't do the small crochet like the doilies and stuff. But let's get back here. I just have to double check. I'm caught up on everything. I think I got the 2 pre-bids. Yep. Okay. Okay, so we ran the fleece. I have one last fleece here. I'm gonna go through that. I do think I have measurements of this one in the details. One is 61 inches by 7.5 inches across, and then the other one is 62 by 13 across. So they're similar in shape, but I just think these are so cute. They have the wolves on them. Like I said, one is about 62 and one is 61. And it does have, what does this say? Colin Bogey, courtesy of MHS. Can't see what it says after that. Commercial use only. I don't know what that means. But like I said, one is 62 inches across. It has the wolves on it howling. The other one is 61. And one is 13 and the other one's I think 7. It does have it in the details. But we're going to run this. Running now. 2 strips of this wolf design. You can see the face and there's like the howling wolves. Thank you for looking at that one. Let me just pull this up really quick and we can move on. Okay, so I do have some, where'd the bag go for this? I do have more fabric here. There's the panda. The fabric, this is the biggest piece of fabric I have at the moment. This one, I'll pull it out here. Let me just, I'm trying to find the bag I just had this fleece in. What did I do with it? Put a clear bag on top of other clear things. Okay, let me just put this away and then I'll grab the panda stuff. There we go. Okay. So this stuff I have not measured. I know there's over a yard. There are 2 pieces, or there's a few pieces here. Let's flip it like this. So there are the smaller pieces. She was doing projects with this. It does have the panda on it. So you get some of the smaller pieces here. This one is the edge, so it does have like that, like the ink got a little darker towards that side. You do have this piece here that's also, she cut into a little bit when she was doing a pattern of something. So you get those pieces, but then you have this giant piece here, and this one says it's Spring Mills ink. And like I said, this thing folds out and out and out. It just keeps folding. So I know there's definitely more than a yard or two here. But you get this huge piece, and then you also have these smaller pieces here as well. And it's about 15 ounces of this fabric. I'm going to run this. I know I've had some interest in it. Running now. That was supposed to run longer. Here, I'm just going to rerun it because I changed it. And for some reason, it doesn't stay. There it goes. Running now. Like I said, I haven't measured that bigger piece, but I know there's a few yards there. There's at least 1 or 2, maybe 3. And then there's the smaller pieces. Thank you for looking at that. Okay. Let me put that away. Let's see what else on the list. We went through that. Okay, I do have some of this batting here. Let's do that. So these are batting leftovers. These are, like I said, she was making crafts. So some of this does have cutouts. This is a bigger piece. She does have, this is softer than this one. I don't know if there's a difference or if this, I think this is still batting. It was in the bag with the batting, but she did cut out a couple squares here, but for the most part, there's a still big piece here. There's also a bunch of this here. If you have like little projects or things that you need to put batting into, there's a piece there. There's some here. This would also be good for like stuffing and certain things. So I'm going to run that. Running that now. Oh, I forgot to change the time on that one. Welcome in. Everything is in the store preloaded, so if you guys have anything that you're looking for, please let me know. I have caught up mostly on the pre-bids, but if you want to see something, I would put it in the comments. I usually see that first. Okay, so that was that batting. I believe that's what they call it. The stuffing they put in quilts and things. Okay. And I think that's it for requests. I'm just going to go through what is on top of the, I'm going to pull from the top of the tote because it's kind of all just in there. If you have requests, I will dig though. I just got to find. The other one of this. Here it is. Okay, so I do have 2 pieces of this. This is elastic. It does have it stretched still. There's 2 pieces. They're about 11 inches each. I'm just gonna run them. I think I only have these at like $1. You get 2 pieces. If you have little projects or things that need elastic. They're 11 inches each. I don't know anything else about that. This one has a pin on it, so you'd get a pin too. Thank you for looking at those. I do have these. These are circular knitting pins. I don't know if I believe it's the size 4. They are highly polished. They do look like they got a little tiny coffee dropped on them, but it says 313.36. So I don't know if that's when this originally was here. I'm not going to fully pull them out, but they are different. There's a blue and a silver one. A blue pair and a silver one. This one has like a metallic cord to it, and this one's like a plastic. But there are 2 different ones here. This is how they came, so I'm leaving it like that. We're gonna run. Running now. I had to save a pair of knitting. They were plastic ones. They were like cheapies though, because I want to learn how to knit. I just haven't yet. I have a bunch. People have given me knitting patterns and crochet patterns, and I know how to do the crochet part. I don't know how to do the knitting, so I want to learn. But I don't feel like I need those ones. Let's see. Where is this one? So this is patterns for 5 different types of skirts. It's called the Butterick Classic, Fast and Easy 5712. It does say sizes 8, 20, and 22. I don't know back then if this was, I don't even see a year. Do I see a year? 1991. I'm not sure if there was different sizes back then, but it has like all the measurements here on the back. Like down here. Like here's the waist, 31 and 1/4. Finished back from waist. Never mind. That's not the waist. I'm not sure. But it does have all 5 of them in there. If you want to make your own skirts, I'm going to run this. Running now. Welcome in. Like I said, if you guys are looking for anything, please check out my store. Everything is preloaded. I also have a bunch in my bin as well. Thank you for looking at that. Where did this go on here? I have that bag of felt. There are little pieces from their little crafts or whatever they were doing at that time. So if you do little patch work kind of with felt, there are some pieces here. I'm just leaving them. If you don't want them, that's fine. You can do something with them after. But you have bigger pieces here. There's some reds left over. There's some greens. There is yellows. There's orange. This is a darker green. There's some blue, a little bit of blue there. And then there's like a darker red. But we're going to run that. Like I said, there's a ton of scrap pieces here if you need scrappies. This would be great even for like kids. Running now. I only have about $3 on this one. Thank you for looking at that one. And I keep them in bags so I don't lose, and two, I have a pet-friendly house, and this way they don't get all fuzzy. Okay. What is this? A runner? RUNN. Okay, so this is a runner. This is something that was hand crocheted. Welcome in. Everything in the store is preloaded. I do have a few new things this week. I found some fabric pieces. I found a new book. So if you've been here in the past, I do have a couple new things, but everything is preloaded. This probably needs a good steam. But this is a runner. It is about, I can measure this time. It's about 23 inches across. And then get my hair off of here. Let's see. So this would go on like a table or even like hang off of a dresser or something like that. Oh, I might not be able to. Hold on. So it's about 34 inches long. And what did I say across? 20, almost 23. But it has this nice little crochet, or not crochet, cross stitch, embroider handmade of a little lady with her basket. There's a butterfly. I'm gonna run. Running now. Anyone that is interested. And if you guys are joining me on Facebook, if you want to come over to Whatnot and you can talk to me here, we can hang out, chat. You can buy things from here, but you can't on Facebook itself. Okay. Put that off the side. What do we have here? I might zoom in for this one. Okay. So these are repair needles. And there are a couple missing, but for the most part they're there. They're basically new. It doesn't look like they've been used. So the ones missing are for embroidery and heavy thread and for canvas and awnings, but you have one here for tapestry. There's for rugs, carpets, and heavy fabrics, sacks and string sewing, and then you have two here for upholstery, mattress, and car seats. They are made in England. There are 5 needles. I know it says 7. I don't see a year on these. But if you need some extra needles for different projects, thicker fabrics, things like that, these would be perfect. And I believe I have them. Yep, I have them pinned. So we're going to run. Running now. Thank you for looking at that. Let me just pin these. So there are 13 pearl-like beads in here. They're charm hanging beads. Let me... Oh, there's some more in there. And these are from some department store. Bigelow's. Is that all of them? Nope, there's a couple more. They're not coming out today. They're being shy. I don't want to rip the bag. Okay, I think I got them all out. Okay, so these are they're pearl like beads. I don't know if they're actual pearls, but they do have these little hanging things here. I'm trying to figure out a year from these because, like I said, a lot of these are older. December 9th of 72. So these were purchased in 72 and never used. But they have those little hooks on them to hang. You get 13 of them. I'm going to run them now. Running now. And welcome in. If you're new here, everything in the store is preloaded. If you have any requests, please let me know. And I do have a bunch in the bin as well today. Thank you guys for looking at that one. I mean, even that packaging on it, it shows the original department store. Bigelow's. From 1972. Let's see here. Where is this? Lace. And this has, I know there's 10 that are about 7 inches. So 70 times 2. You get about 140 inches of this lace. It's like a edging. I don't know if it's actual lace. I'm not sure what it's made out of, but it's 100 and what I say 140 because it's 70 inches across. There's 10 lines here and 10 on the back. But we're going to run starting now. This is in really good shape too. Thank you for looking at that one. Okay, so these are chenille, if I say that right. It says make your own chenille kit. These are kind of like, what are they called? Pipe cleaners. They are a bluish. There is some different colorations on them. There's like a darker stripe on some of them. I guess they're all like that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I thought I had 10 before, but maybe there's only 9. But it says that you can use these for floral decorations, place decorations, gift wrapping, making animal dolls, toys, etc. And it says Japan, but they're that like blue. We're gonna run. Running now. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, 9 of these. Thank you for looking at that one. Oh, I messed up my nail. Oh no. It's okay. Okay, so I do have a bunch of these hot irons that I'm gonna go through. But like I said, if you guys have other requests, please let me know. I have welcome in. I do have a few new items in the store. today. So if anyone wants to check out the store, if you have requests, please let me know. I'm going to start going through some of these hot irons because they were right on top. Which one is this? Number 1. Okay, so we'll go through number 1. Welcome in, Chic and Julie. Okay, so these are hot irons. If you're not sure what that is, these they would use to do embroidery or cross stitch. You would iron these onto your fabrics, and they would leave the impression behind, and then you could just cross stitch or embroider, like I said. This one, some of these are cut. She did use some of it, but this one's got a bunch here. There's some parrots. There's Valentine's Day stuff here on this one. This is going to take up like the whole table, so just give me a second. You get, I believe there's 4 of them here. This one is like a cross stitch of florals. I probably should zoom back out so we can see all of this. Don't mind all of my pillows in the background. My kid likes to make forts, and then when she's done, she just throws everything up on the couch. This one, I gotta unfold nicely. Oh, hold on, I didn't unfold it completely somehow. Oh, it goes like this. And then, no, like this. Okay, so this is a bigger one. So this one has some winter scenes. It looks like there are little girls baking, washing, ironing, doing random stuff there. You get some florals. It looks like there's wreaths up there. There's some nautical stuff going on. There's a ship, if you can't see. And then you also get this one here, which has some florals. It has more little ladies on it. I love the vintage ladies. It has the florals. And then it folds out one more time. Okay. So yeah, you get all the vintage ladies. There's some florals going on. There's the ladies on this one with some nautical and wreaths. You get the one with the parrots and some Valentine stuff. And then there's also that cross stitch floral one. So you get all 4 of these for this price. We're going to run. Anyone's interested. I would think these would even be good for painting. Like if there was some way to transfer these onto, I don't know if you'd be able to iron these onto a canvas. But they do have little testing areas. Like up here, there's a little tester here. You would take that and you would figure out how hot you need your iron or whatever. There are instructions on most of these pages. Thank you for looking at that one. Let me pull this up really quick and we can do the next one. This folds like that. And then like this. And then like that. Okay. I just think these are so cute to even look at. If you could frame them. Let me grab the baggie. I dropped the baggie. Hopefully everyone's having a good today's what? Today's Wednesday. I've lost my mind. This week has gone by way too fast. Today's the first day of school, so my kid is gone. My house is really quiet. I don't feel like I know what to do with myself while she's gone. Because it felt like that summer took forever. And now that I'm here, it's like I'm losing my days. vintage hot iron tote. No, okay, number 2 is right here. Yep, okay. So this one has, I try to put them together if they have like a theme or like a similar thing together. Let's unfold the bigger one first. Welcome in, everybody. We're looking at some hot irons right now, but if you are not into that, if you want to look in the store and you have any requests from there, please let me know. Okay, so this one has ducks and florals and some, it looks like some leaves, like autumn leaves up there. Let me turn this around carefully. There's some fruit and veggies here. There's a little lady. There is a clown up there. Here's some florals. And then you also would get, I have these little cutouts. I think these two go together. There's a little corn singing. And then you also have a little, I believe that's Onion playing the drums. So those two go together as like a band, I'm guessing. And then also there's this little one in the bag as well. This one has some lettering, has florals, butterflies, there's little ducks and stuff, but there's that clown that kind of goes with that other clown up there. So if you were doing like a clown theme on something, there's a mushroom, ducks, cherries, cat, bunny. So you get all of this, those 4. We're going to run that one. And then after this, I think for most of it, I do have just the books and patterns and stuff. If, oh wait, no, I have a couple more things. A couple more hot iron stuff. But like I said, if you guys have requests from the store, just let me know. If you don't want the patterns, but you want something else, I can run those too. And then I do have a bunch in the Buy It Now as well. I'm trying to add some of my crochet stuff that I've actually crocheted in there as well. So if you're looking for like a little amigurumi, I always say it wrong. Amigurumi. I think right now I have like a frog and a bunny in there. I'm going to add some of my tote bags that I've made. Things like that. So if you guys want to, if you haven't followed me yet, and you want to see those, keep an eye out on my bin. But right now I do, like I said, I have a couple things in the bin. The Paper Alchemy. Welcome in. Okay. And then this is number 3. Let's do that. And I'm going to try to do the bigger ones first so that we can see those and then put the smaller stuff on top. These ones have little swans. It looks like there's a kitty. Some acorns. So if you're looking for something for like fall. You know, my mom, I was wondering if my mom would want something like this. She does, this paper is probably too fragile for what she does, but she does copper tooling. And she will like put a design on copper and then she'll like push on it. This one has doggies and it looks like bears. There's some writing there. These little ladies and the flowers remind me of Alice in Wonderland a little bit. Oh boy, this one, she did cut out some of this one, which is fine, but because there's a lot still here. Let's see. So you can see that there's a bunny, there's a kitty and a dog up top. Kitty and the dog up here. And there's some more cross-stitch florals up here. She also has some, there's a bear, there's some quail on that one. Then we have this one here with florals. More florals. And there's a butterfly. And then I'm not sure what these are, but these are going to go with this. These are hot iron things too. They almost look like, I don't know if, I'm not sure what those would be. They almost look like H's or M's or something. It says press with hot iron, place lace, or place face downward on fabric. But we're going to run those. Thank you for looking at that. I can't fall asleep. Thank you for looking at those ones. Okay. Let me just fold these ones up really quick and we'll move on. These are the last big ones. I have some small ones here. I have Aunt Martha's products that I have to go through really quick, and then we can get into the patterns and books and things like that. If that is what you're here for. Just let me know. Okay. Aunt Martha. Let's do this one first. Aunt Martha is, I'm going to stay zoomed out because we're about to do books. But this one is a cross-stitch design for Gingham. Is it Gingham? Gingham checks. There's the butterfly and star, complete chart and instructions. It was shot with this. I can see if I put up the lights, there is still paper in there, so it's never been opened. Let me just pin it. And okay. So we're going to run this. Like I said, it's never been opened. This is how they would shed it. They would put a pin on there with a little bit of thread. I can see that there's still paper in it. It's for the butterfly and star gingham checks. Running now. If anyone's into cross stitch. Oh, that's my cat. I was like, what is that noise? Okay, thank you for looking at that one. And then this is another Aunt Martha's, but this is one of those, just like those other hot iron transfers that we were just looking at. But these ones are so adorable. I'll show you. It does have instructions here on the back. But look at these guys. These are adorable. And there is Sunday through Saturday. You have all the different days. But they're little cats. They're vintage cats. And obviously if you don't want the writing on there, don't do the writing. You can use the pictures. There's the Monday. Here's Tuesday with ironing. We have Wednesday with sewing. They're running after some thread there. We have Saturday baking. So cute. Here's a Thursday market. They're in a little basket. Here is, what day was this? They might be out of order. Thursday. Do we have the Friday? No. It was there. Here's Friday. Oh, there's Saturday. Okay, so these are a little bit out of order. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then we have Sunday. Rest. And it's just them hanging out. And it does come with a tester, like I explained in the other ones. You would use this test to put down, and it would test like how hot you need the iron and all that. It has the instructions with it, so it would explain that. But I'm going to run these. These are so adorable. I love these. anyone's interested in some cute little cat art. Thank you for looking at them. You know what I just thought would be interesting is if you could take these to like a tattoo artist. I don't know if anyone's into tattoos. If you're not, I'm sorry. But if you took these to the tattoo artist and they were able to scan them in onto their like program, and then you could get these tattooed on yourself. Like you could do a whole sleeve of just these cats. Or any of that other hot iron stuff. Like, I think that would just be interesting. And then you could have literally like a vintage artwork on you. Okay. So I am pregnant. I have to use the restroom really quick. I'm going to pin something from the Buy It Now. Like I said, if you could, I'm going to put up my little announcement. Oh. My speech to text hates me. 1 second. There we go. Sorry. Please be patient with me. And like I said, I do have to use the restroom really quick. I'm going to pin one of the things that I've made myself. If anyone's interested in getting that. I will be right back. Literally like 2 seconds. If you have any requests from the store, please let me know. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, now we're going to get into some of the books. Let me take that off there. I'm just going to grab a book pile. How about that? Oh, there. Which one is this? Birds of a Feather. That one. Okay, so this is the Stony Creek collection of Birds of a Feather. It is cross stitch. It does show you the different patterns that you can do and like what you can do with them. I think that's really cool. It has the different birds in here. It also has the color conversion chart that they used. So if you use any of these brands, which I don't know if they have them anymore, this is from 1993. But like I said, this has so many different, you have the hummingbirds. What are these ones? Robins? Eastern bluebirds. You have the blue grosbeak. And I noticed that they have this gap in here. I think a lot of times it's easier if you just print these out or like scan them out and then like tape them together, if that's easier for you. Here's more pictures of what you can do with them. I think this is all of them together. And then you have your scarlet tanagers. There's no robins, are there? I don't know what I'm talking about. Scarlet tanagers. Your tufted titmice. There are robins. I swear I saw robins, but they don't have them as pictured unless it's in the center. There's your robins. I knew I wasn't going crazy. And then you have more robins. There's the bottom robins. The robin one is huge, it looks like. So yeah, we are going to run that one. Running now. You can make all those different things. Try to figure out what this is, if this is a pillow. Thank you for looking at that one. The next one we have is dinos. Let me just pin it really quick. Okay, so this is the dinosaurs. It shows you all the different things you can do with it. I know with this design, they expect you to just use that for any of the extra dinosaurs that you want to do. So you get that big, huge attack dinosaurs, but then you can like use just whatever dinosaur you want. If you were making individual stuff, here it says Old Fossil and Feed Me. And then on the back, it has the I Know What Killed the Dinosaurs Mondays. And then the teacher guarded by Watch Dinosaur. And this one says guarded by, and then you would do this, obviously. And then you'd put the name. So this one is the dinosaur one. We're running now. Welcome in, Ashley. How are you doing today? Thank you for looking at that one. Okay, the next one is this one. This is the Feathered Friends. Let me just pin this. This one's a big one. This one is very big. And it has the different birds. And I'm sure if you just wanted this, like, sure, you can make this big thing. But if you wanted just like individual birds to make something kind of like the dinosaurs, you could do that. It has all the different colors there. And it has the instructions here on the back, the general instructions, the working chart, all that. So I'm going to run this one. And these books might not be in order. I just grabbed a handful and we're just going to go through them. Thank you for looking at that one. Okay. Now, this is that one that we were looking at the other day. It's Bernat's Handcraft. It has the socks, slippers, scarves, gloves, and mittens. This one does have a couple of call outs. Let me just pin it really quick. For the most part, these are really good shape. You can see all of it. I lowered the price on this. Not B. Burnats. There we go. I did lower the price on this just a little bit because there are call outs on this. She would, when she was looking at stuff, she would have her coffee. There's this page here. It has a little bit of dirt or something on it, like something got spilled on it. I did take a wipe over it. I washed off a little bit. Came off, whatever it was. There are a couple spots where there was like coffee drips towards the front here. But for the most part, you can read. This is old, so it's got some aging to it as well. There's the teenage bonnets. There's Norwegian scarf and glove set. There's, it looks like another set here. Scarf and gloves, different types, all different kinds. Child's knitted beanie with men's evening scarf. Gloves, crocheted gloves. So there's gloves and knit in here if you do either one. Hold on, let me grab that. Children's gloves, plain or ridge rib gloves. Then you get the more mittens. First-hand information tells you exactly like what to do with your mittens and gloves, like what you should know before doing all this, how to read the patterns, stuff like that. There's child slippers of Burnat's color style, whatever that means. Crocheted bed socks. Slippers and woolly down of, oh, it's a woolly down is a type of, I'm guessing, yarn. There's the color styles. There's the Laurel spun socks. And what are PEDs? P-E-D. I don't know what that is. I don't know what PEDs are. Probably a type of sock. There's contrasting different types of socks here. Bunch of different socks and anklets. There's a bunch for children as well. Even these old pictures are kind of funny. There's more socks and stockings. And then there's this printout here. I don't know. It says the TV booty. So it's a different type of sock. And it has all the instructions here. So I'm just leaving that in here. That was in here. She must have been doing something for socks. But I love the bright orange. Like I said, there are some call outs. There's that one page that had like something spilled on it. I did wipe it down a little bit. It did come off just a little bit. So, but you can see the pattern still. And there are a couple spots like where there's coffee or whatever dripped. She would drink her coffee and tea while she was doing crafting. But we're gonna run this one. And I did bring this down, I think $1 or so because of the call outs. You can still see all the patterns though. Thank you for looking at that one. This is the new book that I got. This is a big book too. So if you have you remember all those scraps of fabric that I have in my thing, this would go really well with it. You can do all the different scraps. Here's some of the strips like that were cut in the fabric that I have in those bags. So that might be what it was. Oh, look at that fabric with the little paw prints. But it starts start to finish, the magic of scraps, what to do with them. Here's a different flowers that you can make. You could do all triangles. That's pretty cool. Those ones look like candy. Is this candy? Candy wrappers, yep. You can make them look like candy wrappers. 9 patch and rails. Delilah Delight. It has more Dahlia Delight, sorry. Has dahlias on them. The second I saw flowers, I knew it. I said it wrong. Star Path. Kansas Trouble. Reunion Stars. Irish Chains. Milky Way. Charm Stars. Oh, I skipped over one. Not sure what that is. Stars. That's part of this one. Starry Night. Ooh, that one would be good for all the scrap strips. Cracker. Like firecracker, I'm guessing. I don't know. How to make appliques. Ooh, look at that one. That one is so pretty to make with scraps, and I have all those scraps in there. Cross tulips. Piece of cake. Oh, so they're supposed to look like cake with maybe candles on them? Nine patch and hourglass. This one is Midnight Stars. There's a lot of stars and flowers, it seems. Anvil Medallion. Barn Raising Log Cabin. Oh, that's like the barn. Look at that. What do they call these? Holly Hobbies almost, they look like. Okay, some of the pages are a little loose. I do want to point that out. Gussie Groat's Bonnet. That just doesn't sound like a good name. Buckeye Beauty. There's butterflies. What is that one? Kaleidoscope. That one's really cool. Baby bows. There's a bunch in here. Bow ties. Button box. Hearts. So there's hearts, flowers, butterflies, and then other shapes. Bunch of scrap quilts. And like I said, I have all those scraps. This came with that in that same box that I got the other fabrics. There are bags of scraps in my store as well. So if you are interested in doing scrap quilts and you want this, get like a starter pack or something like that, I do have some fabric in there as well. But this one is, I believe, from 1995. We're going to run. Running now. Thank you for looking at that. Just give me 1 second. I thought it said something got delivered to the house. I don't have anything coming to the house. Okay. Grab another box or bag. We'll grab another pile of books. Welcome in. Oh, I just messaged you. I literally just said I'm hungry and it's not even 11. Or it's not even lunchtime. Like, I just ate my snack and I'm already hungry. I'm not gonna overeat though. I don't want to. The baby's just gonna have to deal. Let me just pin this one. I have a bunch of pattern books. This one is cross stitch. Feed the baby. I know. I gotta feed the baby. But I already fed her. She can deal. I'm trying not to fall asleep as well. Okay, so there's a planning project. There's stitching from the chart, like how to do it. This one has, it goes by seasonal. This has a witch. I love this witch. I have this witch. My grandma, actually, when I looked through tote, has this witch already done on some tote. I just got to find a frame for it. And then there's seasonal up there on the top. There's gingerbread. There's apples and wheat. You get some Christmas. There is all of these nativity set, which kind of will look like this at the bottom there. There's the wise men and the shepherd. And then you have rainbow pillow, which this one is the winter one, but it shows up here how to change them out for like your summers, autumn, spring, how to do different ribbons. So you don't have to just go with Christmas. You can do different ones. There's some writing down here if you want to put some words. You can do birthday parade. I love these. These are so cute. Little kids. It says welcome. There's a Celtic cross. There's some Easter eggs they have sprinkled in here. There's another one. There's florals. There's a heart border. You can do like weddings. And then for summer they have like the florals, and then they also have some running chicks down here. They almost look like they're on skis, but that's like the ground and then they're walking. And then it just has your basic instructions in the back. And it shows you everything that you can make on these things. So I'm going to run this one. Running now. My dad just sent me something. I'll have to look after. Thank you for looking at that one. This is my favorite, and I wish I had the patience to do cross stitch because I love this crow. Somebody needs to make me this crow. If you buy this and I pay you, can you make me this crow? Birds. Okay. But they have different ones. They have crow, they have a bluebird, and a red bird. I don't know why they did red bird. I would definitely change that to cardinal. Maybe give him a little, like, what's it called on top of his head that the cardinals usually have. But it has all of them here. It has the different instructions for the different birds. What's on the back? Finishing instructions. How to finish it. I'm going to run this. Running now. Thank you for looking at that one. We're going to do needle and thread. Now, this one is like the other magazine where it has all the different types of, what do you call it? Crafts, activities, projects. This one has projects from Mexico. You can make holiday banners, symphony and F-size quilts, beautiful wrap skirts, and then there's patterns and instructions for like pillows, creative fashions, children's toys, home furnishings, and more, it says. So let's just go through this really quick. Oop. So it tells you how to make like decorative hems. Still more decorative hems. This is called special features. Look at this. I love this. You can make the hat, the skirt, and the tote there. I think that's still hems. Different hems. Here's some of the clothing. It just shows it right now, but there are the things back there. But there's the different types of clothing, embroidered dresses. The Modern Arts of Mexico. And when was this from? 1981. So this would have been modern in 1981. And then you have like a shawl that can be turned into like a skirt and everything. So many uses for that. There's different pillows you can make. It looks like napkins. towels, pillows. These are pillows. Look at that little koala. Welcome in. It has this baby quilt, which I'm not gonna lie, kind of scares me. 1981. But then it has the dolls. It does have the patterns here in the middle for all of this. There's the little skirt and tote and hat that match. There's the dolls. There's some of the clothing, and it tells you how, like, obviously this is not the size for adults. It tells you how to, like, make them bigger so it can be your size. There's quilting patterns in here. Welcome in. Basically everything you see in this magazine, they have the patterns for it in this section. There's like the pillows. There's that baby that I was talking about. And then it talks about like where they get their inspirations for the clothing that they have in this. Here's like the toys that you can make. More instructions on how to make clothing. So they have the patterns and then they have the instructions separate. So these are all the instructions for all the different projects you can make. But you basically get all of this. Running this one. And this is from 1981? Running now. And like I said, right now I'm just kind of going through the books and the patterns and stuff like that. If you guys see anything in the store that you have requests for, please let me know. Thank you for looking at that one. Here's another one. If you're into quilting, I have a bunch of quilting stuff today. We even have scrap fabric. So if you do like scrap patchwork or anything like that, there's strips, there's squares, there's bigger chunks of fabric and some of the bags. If you want to check those out, because I know a lot of people are into quilting that have been in these shows. This is from 1981 as well. This one has, it does have patterns. It has patterns and photos and designs and stuff like that in here. Let me just pull this up really quick. And anything that I've gone over already, if you guys want me to rerun, just let me know too. Okay, so this one's from 1981. This does have extra printout in it. My grandma was working on something and I'm just leaving it in here. There's different types of quilts. There's the Drunkard's Path. There's Jenna quilt that has like little people. It has a butterfly one in here. Queen butterfly. There's a rainbow. She print out the instructions and the patterns. So you basically get all of that along with the patterns that come with the magazine. Let me just find them. I mean, it does go into like some history and like how to do certain things. It does have the patterns in here. Let me put it more center. What is this? Oh, it shows like what designs have won. Question and answers. If you have any questions, there's the patterns for the different. There's ducks and there's animals, ducks, flowers. There's a little lady in here. They even have cartoons. Could you tell us something about performance, design, engineering, workmanship, and service? There's more quilts. There's a bunch of quilts in here. Patterns, everything. Butterflies. So I'm going to leave that. Like I said, I'm going to just send these with this one. And I will run this. Only $3. Thank you for looking at that one. Let me just double check that I didn't miss out anything. Okay, so this one is, I'm going to put this off to the side. It's fine. This one is the 101 patchwork. And this has over 101 patchwork patterns. It's kind of similar to that scrap one where it has like all the different patterns in it. So many different ones. She does have some where she traced, if you want to use them. I'm just going to leave them in here. There's florals. There's different geometric ones. That one looks like baskets, cherry baskets with oak leaf and acorn and snowflakes. Interesting. I don't know if they have a pattern for that, but they talk about like history too in here as well. So if you're into crochet or quilting, this would definitely be interesting to read. It's double Irish cross. Floral. I forget what this one is called, roses or something like that. Then there's a windmill. There's more. Oh, she has a triplets kit, snappy triplets. How to make dolls. I think it's dolls, or is it? It's a pattern for something, for a doll or something you can put on your quilt. I'm not sure, but it's in here. Is this more of the windmill? Nope, that's the drunkard's path. So we're gonna run. Running now. Thank you for looking at that one. These are printouts. I just felt like I just kind of put them together because they're all the same. They are for different cross stitch for Christmas. We have like candles, angels, Santa, bells. There's more poinsettias. There's a girl with a stocking. You get this pamphlet here with the joy, and it has the reindeer. Has all the instructions there. There's more candles on a, like you would put on a runner. Here is a giant Santa. Here's more candles, smaller poinsettias, and a snowman. And then there's a big one here for Merry Christmas. It comes in like 3 different pieces. It is a big cross stitch. It's a big project. So it was printed out in 3 different pieces. You kind of just put together. And then there's also this snowflake place set that you can embroider as well. We're going to run all of that together. I just got to pin it. They're just little printouts of Christmas cross stitch patterns. Running now. Like I said, there's the snowflake placemat. There's Santa with his reindeer. That one's a bigger one, so it is printed off into 3. These were just things she had. It's not even like a real printout. It's almost like a leaflet. She might have got these from like her crafting club or something that she was in. I'm not sure. There's candles. Joy is that's a little leaflet. Okay. Done with that pile. Let me just put that back. If you guys want anything we ran from that, let me know and I'll keep going. Right now we're kind of stuck on the patterns, but if there's anything in the store you see that you want ran, please let me know. Okay. Oop. Let me just do this really quick. This isn't crafting, but this is just like in a little ephemera, a little leaflet thing going on. It's shapely legs. This is hilarious. I don't know why this is so funny to me, but I just like the little pop of pink to it. It says A Guide to Shapely Legs. This is from 1949, the American Weekly Beauty Department. And it says, the first thing it says is, what's the remedy for ugly legs? And it tells you like how to stretch out, how to do all this stuff. It's from the American Weekly, a Hearst publication. It's just like a little piece of ephemera. And it tells you how to stretch out your legs. So you have pretty legs. I'm gonna run that really quick. I know it's not crafting, but it was in with this stuff, so I just thought it was hilarious not to. Thank you for looking at that one. Okay. Now, this is Lacey's. It's socks, gloves, scarves, and 2-needle mittens. These are old. These, they do have a little wear to them. She's obviously she used to make her own stuff all the time, so she would have been reading this constantly. I don't think there's a year. I don't think there's a year on this one. But there's different like mittens, scarves. I think there's even children's ones in here. Like I said, it is a little worn. It's coming apart. There's infant mittens in here. Socks. This is, I think, for mostly knitting. There might be 1 or 2 crochet in here, but if you know how to knit and you want to make some vintage looking mittens or gloves or scarves, there's this. And it has all the different patterns. Like I said, there is a little coffee spill or something here. Tea, probably. But we're going to run. Very old. A lot of these things are from, like, they can start from the 1940s up until 2000s, I think. Okay, we have the complete book of cross stitch here. This one is hardcover. It's from 1994. It is hardcover. It shows you a lot of what you can do on the front and back of these. But there are so many patterns in here. Here's the introduction. There's some history going on, like what the tradition of all this is, what materials you need, the variety of fabrics, how it affects them. I'm gonna kind of skip through this really quickly, but it's a complete guide to cross stitching. So it has like different cross stitch techniques, project variations, and then it kind of gets into the motifs and like the patterns. There's little ones here in the front. What is this? Oh, you can even do pictures. You can do full-on landscapes. That's a lot of work right there. You can do tote bags. It shows you how they do eagle tote bag. These are cute, the little teddy bears. It's a traditional American sampler. If you ever go to like an antique store and you see something like this, it's usually where people were learning how to do it in like school or something. They have like how to make Christmas sachets. Those would be so cute for gifts for Christmas. And you could easily sell these. How to make greeting cards. Putting like little green cards or in like, that's a frame. Floral boxes, napkins, placement holders, bookmarks. Oh, it also has like different techniques for darning. I don't know what darning is, but there's like guest towels, curtains, pillows, more landscapes. These landscapes are crazy. And then there's like open work and how to do that, like fold work, different techniques that you can use from cross stitching if you haven't done that in a while. Placemats, pillows. I think that's pretty cool because nowadays most people just go to the store and buy them. How to do clothing, nightgowns. There's embroidery. And in the back it has more like finishing techniques and things like that. But this is a hardcover from 1994. Complete book of cross stitch and techniques. Running now. Okay. Thank you for looking at that one. Okay, this is an older one too, and I don't know if this one has a date on it, but look at that artwork. And this is getting more into color. This is probably when they started doing color on their on the fronts, because I don't think there's color throughout it. Because if you saw the laces from, I forget what year, this is from 1953. So I'm guessing the laces are a little older than this. It has to knit and crochet for the entire family. So this has different, let's just go from the start. Like it has the women's gloves. It has more here. Tailored gloves, different designs you could do. These are novelty gloves and mittens for women. Those ones look so soft. Oh, they're Angola. Okay. So there's long gloves, short gloves, 2-needle mittens, Angora gloves, tailored gloves, so many different gloves. And then they have the men's. Welcome in. There's Afghan stitch gloves. Some of these pages are a little loose, but they're still in there. You can do them for, that's the Angola, the one that looks really soft. They have one for the growing child. There is a chart somewhere. I think in this one. Is it this one? Oh, it tells you like how to find your different sizes and stuff like that. Different designs, things like that. And then on the back here, it says like how to change length of fingers, check your gauge, blocking and steaming them, leaving duplicate stitches and abbreviations, like how to read the different abbreviations. So I believe most of this is crochet or knit, but it has a couple crochet. We're going to run. Running now. We're running this at the moment. But if you see anything in the store, please let me know if you have requests. We're going through some pattern books and things like that. But I have other things, obviously. I have a bunch of these magic crochets, and like I said, I do crochet, but I don't do doilies. I don't do small. Small hurts my hands. So those that are doing this, I give you mad props. But look at these. These are all published, I believe, in France, and then they are distributed from California. This one has over 21 patterns. And what I like about this one is it has like pictures throughout here. We'll go through it, but it has pictures and then it has the number on it and you go find that number for the pattern. But a lot of this is doily and tatting. There's runners, there's for beddings, bedspreads. There's table covers, living room sets. You can put them over your furniture, over your chairs. What is this? Dressing table set. White table center. There's a lot of center. There's like a lot of doily center thingies. I'm not going to go through maybe everything in here, but because a lot of it's repeats of just different designs. You can do different cushions. I know some of these have, I don't think this one does. There's the cushions. Some of them have curtains that you can even do. I don't see curtains in this one yet, though. What is this? That's just a table runner. These are so pretty. There's the whole tablecloth. And then in the back here, it does have like vocabulary, how to do the different stitches, things like that. Has all the instructions here and how to begin. I think there's a lot of fastening off, like how to finish, stuff like that. And those are cushions. So I'm going to run this one. And running now. If you are into like the smaller crochet, doing doilies, work like that, these are perfect for you. And if you're just joining, if you're new, everything is preloaded into the store. If you want to check that out, if you see something that you are interested in, I can definitely bring that forward. I think I've caught up on all pre-bids. So if you have a request, if you want to just put it in the comments, that would probably be faster. I would notice it before the pre-bids, but this is another one. This is from 1983. So these magazines are older. Like I said, they are all printed in France, and then they're distributed from California. This one has 24 patterns in this one. Oh, that's cute. Little covers for like your furniture to, like dust covers, I'm guessing. This one does have the curtains in it. Yes, I love these curtains. I don't know why. But you can make curtains, table covers. That's a whole bedspread and a pillow, matching pillow. Another table cover. See, I have animals. I would never be able to do this. That's another table cover. There's a basket of cherries pillow somewhere in here. Well, that's a pattern for it. I just want to see the picture. There it is. Basket of cherries. More covers for your furniture. There's that goose, or the peacocks. I'm not sure what they are. And then they have the floral. And then this one also has like the techniques and stuff at the end. How to, like instructions how to finish and all that. So we have that one. Running now. Keep getting pulled away. I'm sending you good vibes. Thanks. I'm trying. Thank you for the hearts. It's almost lunchtime. I don't know what I'm going to eat for lunch, but I am excited for it because I've been hungry since 10:30. Work basket. Okay, these ones. These ones are super. These are 1948 food. Yeah, I know. It's probably just going to be a chicken wrap. But I don't have to worry about the child today making her lunch, so I can eat whatever I want. These are from 1948. Home and needle, craft for pleasure and profit. What food? She doesn't have a separate food. Usually I'm making chicken and she goes, I want that too. So I'm like, okay, we're just gonna make double. But this is home and needle, craft for pleasure and profit. June 1948. Bye. Have fun. Okay, so these are ideas for the bazaar, the home, gifts, and spare time money makers with many inexpensive, easily made articles that find a ruddy sale. Wagon wheels. These are crocheted motifs. You can do large medallions too. There's the tray cloth. There are crochet star bedspread designs. So this is kind of similar to the magic crochet, but this, I know they have other things besides doilies in here as well. There's conceal old hems, tatted scarves. There's some of the tray stuff. Oh, these are so cool. They're crochet mitts. There's some tatted edging. And then it goes to metal crafting and how to like do that. Whatever they're doing. Oh, they're etching. I thought they were painting on it. They're etching into metal. And then I have some knitted two-piece bathing suits. And we're going to run. Okay. And then I have another one here. This one has similar stuff, but not exactly the same. This is from February of 1948. Let's see here. They have crocheted pillows. They have a doily. They have a pan holder set. Let me see. Is this crochet? Crochet. So this is more crochet. You get tatted triangle motifs. Quilt. This one has a quilt in it. And then, what is this in the back? Hot plate mats. How to make hot plate mats. What is this? Social hour. Give each other a pencil and a piece of paper and have them write the answers to the 10 following questions that you ask. What heart is a city? Hartford. What heart is a flower? Bleeding Heart. What heart is an author? Reinhardt. Huh. Interesting. And then what do they have in the back here? Oh, collar and belt set. And then knitted gloves. And get the Chanel punch and Judy doll kit and materials. I do have the Chanel, what's it called? They look like little pipe cleaners. But I'm going to run this one. These are so old, from 1948. These are almost 80 years old. Let me just put my little announcement in. Okay. So that pile of stuff is done. I'm just going to put that away and we can pull out some more here. Welcome in. I'll just grab that. All of that. Okay. So we're going to switch it up just a little bit. This is a magazine from 1988. So like I said, a lot of these magazines, they do have a bunch of different crafts in them. It's not, excuse me, talk too fast. It's not just one type. I gotta get a drink. It has, this one has 40 recipes, but it also has 50 joyful pages of like toys, ornaments, dolls, wreaths, gifts to make. And we can take a quick look through it. Just let me do that really quick. Okay. So a lot of it is shown in this picture. Like there are bears, there's different Christmas ornaments, there's different toys and things to make in here. And of course the recipes. You kind of got to get past the ads at the starting though. The recipes are kind of just mixed in. And I don't want to rip a page, so I'm just... Like here's a berry rich chocolate truffle loaf with raspberry sauce. That sounds good. I'm also hungry right now, so it doesn't help. Welcome in. Okay, so there's a Splendid White Christmas. It shows you what you can make first, and then like the patterns and stuff are later. There's the reindeer cutouts. You can make even like a table like this. There's the reindeer sweater. You can make, I think these angels are part of it. There's keepsakes. There's stockings at the top there. Different, more reindeers. Different dolls, snow babies they call them. Baby's First Christmas, things to do like that for them. Here's some of the reindeer stuff, the reindeer patterns. What is this? There's a maple leaf quilt, starburst ornaments. It tells you what materials you need, but then it tells you also where to go for like the instructions. There's the stockings. Reindeer sampler. You can make these bears, like I said. There's also the little pillows and fanciful frostings, whatever that is. It has the Christmas dinners that you can make. There's gingerbread houses, stockings again. Here's a dolls. I know they have the patterns for these. There's like a ballerina doll and a toy soldier doll in here. Like here's for the sugar plum bears. Obviously, if you want it bigger, you just print it out or whatever, and then you can trace it out. If you're good with patterns, you know how to do that. There's the gingerbread house. Some of these ads are old. Ooh, here's some of the recipes that you can make with French, or Hellman, sorry. I don't know why I said French. French onion dip, that's what I saw. There's the ballerina doll and the toy soldier. Christmas at Grandma's. Embroidered keepsakes, cuddling cousins. They're like little, I think, pajamas or something. Here's some of the, it's a sampler for writing, like cross stitch. There's more of the Jimmy Dean. What is that? Country breakfast pie. That's interesting. I can't have eggs, but like I said, this has it has over 40 recipes. It has over 50 projects throughout here. I'm just kind of skipping through. There's the grandma dolls. There's the clothing for it. There's ornaments in here. There are a bunch of different a lot of this is Christmas themed. There's old Christmas recipes and all that. Like I said, these are from what year? 1988. We're getting more into the recipes, so I'm trying to skip through that because there's a big chunk in the center there. But like I said, there were dolls. It kind of shows you on the front. There were dolls, there were ornaments, there were crochet things, there were I think there might have been a little bit of quilting, not really sure. Different dolls, things like that. There's 50 pages of toys, ornaments, dolls, wreaths, gifts to make, and then the 40 recipes, all from 1988. So I'm going to start that now. We kind of skipped through all of it, like you saw the different patterns and things that they have in there, and instructions as well. Thank you for looking at that. Okay, so the next thing is we're going to do the witch. Okay, this is a Whimsy Witch pattern. This is from 1980. It's by Patch Press. It does have the whole pattern in here. It's cut out. Let's see here. It's by Kathy Dixon, 1980. It does tell you everything you need in here that you will need. I have some batting in there. I have the it's like scrap batting if you need batting. I do have, where is it? There was a lace trim there. I think we said 140 inches of it. And then there was a little bit of felt. I don't know if I have black felt though in my store. If you want this, and then you want to grab some of that as well. But this is going to run. If you guys have requests, please let me know. I'm kind of just going through the patterns and books right now, but I do have a bunch of other stuff. But this would hang on your door. This could hang on your wall. I remember both my grandmas on both sides making a lot of 3D things like this for Halloween and Christmas. That seemed to be the thing to do back then. I love them. Kind of brings back childhood memories. Okay, so this is just a leaflet pattern for, they're called Hug'ems. And I don't know if there's a year on these. But these guys kind of look like they're sheep. And they're two dolls that would hug each other. So if you're into making things, the whole pattern is here. You would lift this out and then it folds out completely. So you can get the pattern. And it has all the instructions as well. I'm surprised this doesn't have a year. A lot of them do. But let me just pin that really quick. Hug. There we go. So that's what you would be making right there. Like I said, it has instructions, everything like that. We're going to run this. And if you've been here before, I did add new things to the store. There's, I got a scrap quilt book. And then I also have 3 or 4 bags of scrap fabric for that quilt, the quilt, if you are into that type of quilting. Let me just pin these really quick. They're right here on top. Okay, so these are 2 different embroider patterns. They're little leaflets. I don't know the age on these. Doesn't have a year. I don't think they have a year on these. But these are definitely older. You get this all over scroll placemat and napkins, so you can have matching napkins with them if you want to make your own. And then you also get the Pleasant Polka place set, and it tells you how to make that as well. And then they both come with instructions. They fold out. They both have full instructions and patterns with them. So you get 2 of these. We're going to running now. My parents or my grandparents used to make their own decor all the time. It seemed a lot cheaper back then. It probably would be cheaper now too. Paul. There we go. Paula. Okay, this is the duplicate stitch designs from Paula's Closet. 13 designs. It's cross stitch, and it shows all the things that you could do, possibly. There's a lot more to it that you could do. It has all these little patch, or the cross stitch designs in here. Here's all the smaller ones. There's the birds. And it does have like your little color thing up here, but obviously you can use your own, whatever you want. Just get crafty with it. And then it has the instructions on the back here. But we're going to run that one. This would actually be pretty as like a runner too, if you did like a runner on like a table. Thank you for looking at that one. This one, I love this one. I don't know how to knit. I really want to learn how to, but I love this, like the little vintage duck. What is this one called? Baby? There we go. Okay, so this is the baby Afghan number 4, to knit and crochet. There's 7 adorable designs. So they show them on the front. There's the goose, the snowman, and then these 2. I think this one's crochet. But there's the floral one here. Then you get your duck, and you get these 2. All patterns are in here. All instructions are in here. I think they even tell you like what colors you can use, or what they used, I should say. But there's your goose. This would be so cute if you did this and you like had like silly goose on it. There's the duck and an Afghan stitch. See, I don't know how to do Afghan stitch. Or I could do that. I know how to crochet some things, but not Afghan stitch. But we're going to run this. This is, it doesn't have an age. Does this not have a year? I know we like years. $19.89. This is from 1989. We're going to run. Running now. Most of it's knitting, but like this is Afghan crochet. They're just a cute little. Okay. Thank you for looking at that. I have more of these. If you guys are into this magic crochet stuff, I have a bunch of these. This one has, hold on, this one has 29. So this is one of the bigger ones. This has 29 different designs in it. Which one is this? This one's this one. This one is from 1982. So this is one of the older ones. There's the different doilies. There's runners. I don't know. This one does. I love these. I wish I knew how to make them because I would totally make that. I love those little things. Different curtains, different doilies. Oh, there's a different curtain. Table, cover. And then they have the instructions in the back, just like normal. There's the techniques, the different stitches, things like that. And there's like how to finish it and stuff. But this one comes with 29 patterns. So we're going to run this. Okay. Thank you for looking at that one. This one is a special because it's just for DMC. So if somebody told me last time DMC is a certain type of thread or yarn, this one has 26. This one has 26 designs in it. So we're going to go through those really quickly. But they have like the bedspreads, the doilies. They have the curtains. Here's all the different. Oh, they have two different types of curtains. There's tablecloths. There's a whole bunch of different stuff in here. Pillows. Oh my goodness. They even have like a lampshade. I thought that was a shirt at first, but I'm going to run this. I like how this one has all different colors too. It had like the different doilies. It has the table covers, the bed covers, the curtains. It has that lampshade in there. That was crazy. The birds are fighting at my window. I don't know if you can hear that. We have a suction cup bird feeder that goes right to my window, and sometimes the birds like to fight. Here comes the cat to get it. Yes, get them. Knock them off the window. Okay, so this one's from 1983. This isn't the special one. This is, how many do they have? They have 24 in this one. Welcome in. If you see anything in the store, please let me know. I can pull those out. We're just kind of going through some, it's called Magic Crochet. It's for like doilies and things like that. These have patterns. There's bedspreads. More table covers. Ooh, that one has like the whole alphabet you could do as a table cover. That would be cute, and even like if you did it with like thicker yarn and then you had it as like a wall hanging or something, or a blanket for like a child, that would be really cute. Or you could make your own like names and stuff because it has the individual patterns for each letter. More table covers. I don't know if this one has the curtains in it. The other one did. That is beautiful with the flowers. My grandma had something like that all over her buffet. Here's more of the bedspreads. But there are pillows. There are 24 patterns in this. Each one is numbered so you can find the pattern easily. We're going to run this one as well. And I do have, if you are interested in these, I have like 5 or 6 of these books. But this one's running. This one's from 1983. Running now. Okay. Thank you for looking at that one. Let's grab another pile. And I think I'm getting down towards the bottom here. So I'm going to say an announcement. Welcome in. There we go. So if anyone knows Swedish, my grandpa came from Sweden when he was 17. My grandma kind of took on a lot of crafting for the Swedish stuff. I don't know how to read Swedish. If anyone does, there is this Swedish set here. It comes with a frame. It comes with the instructions and the pattern. I'm going to run it. It's from DMC. It's from 1995. I wish I learned how to speak Swedish, or even read it, I should say, when he was alive, but I didn't. So all of that is foreign to me. Okay, thank you for looking at that one. Which one is this, cat? Okay, so I do have 2 of these. If anyone's interested. So these patterns are from 1979. These are a little older. This is a cat and mouse. It has this their printouts. This one has all the instructions and stuff how to do it. Then you get the pattern. My grandma had cut out a pattern already, so you guys can just use that if you want instead of cutting your own, and you can save this. And then on the bottom here, it shows how they made it into a square pillow, but I would definitely see this. You could probably make this into like a 3D pillow if you just want a cat pillow with a mouse. But this is from 1979. I'm going to run it. Running now. And if you guys have stuck around this whole time, if you are interested into like vintage knickknacks, home decor, glass pottery, that kind of stuff, I do have a show coming up on Friday morning if you want to bookmark that. I have everything preloaded for that as well. If you want to look through the stores, do pre-bids, anything like that, you can do that. What is this? This is the cat, so I'm not going to do the cat again. I have 2 of the cats. And then we do have a dog. This is the same thing, but it's a dog. And I think this one has a butterfly instead of a mouse. Let me see. This one's folded this way. And this one's from 1979 as well. This is the puppy and butterfly. So you have the puppy body with the face and then the butterfly. There are extra cutouts here. There's extra instructions here. So you don't have to ruin that pattern if you don't want to. And then it does tell you at the bottom there how to make it. You can make it into that square. But like I was saying, that 3D puppy or 3D cat would just be so cute. I'm going to run that one. This is, oh, hold on. Stop. Don't, if you don't want the cat. I thought I pinned the dog. We're going to have to pin the dog. This one's running for the cat one. If you would like the cat one. The cat one's rerunning. Okay. Let me pin this. Pin. There we go. Now it should be pinned. Let's run this one. This one's for the dog. This one's the dog and puppy, or the puppy and butterfly is running right now. Has a cute little puppy face and the butterfly. All instructions. Thank you for looking at that one. What is this one? Oh, okay. I love this one. Do you guys if you guys are good at crocheting, like clothing, this I think is so pretty. And I love that this is coming back because I've seen so many people crochet their own wedding gowns, but look at this thing. This is a big pamphlet. I got a leaflet. But this is an instructions. You can do short or no sleeves or long sleeves. It is for a garden wedding gown. Does it have a year? Did I put a year down? I don't think there's a year on. Oh, 1978. I found the year somewhere. right there. There it is. Spring 1978. But it has like how to do different sizes. The directions are for size 8, but it has the changes for size 10, 12, 14, and 16. And then it has like the different sizes, like you can check what size you would be in throughout there. But it has all of the instructions on how to like shape your neck and how to do all of it, and how to finish it off. I just think this is so pretty. And I love that this is coming back. Like we're making our own clothing. But it's running right now. Only $3 for this pattern. Thank you for looking at that. I do have this here. This is a printout as well, a leaflet. It's for a birdhouse, but I did notice on the back it has instructions for how to make a lamp as well. So if you're into this kind of stuff, I only did $2 on this one, but there's the one design birdhouses. So if you're really crafty with wood, there's that. And then it also has, this is like an ephemera. This is from 1959. Clarissa was still around then, but this has the how to make the cypress knee lamp, how to make it out of wood. So I'm guessing if you even have a different type of wood, you could do this too, if you want to make your own. But I'm gonna run this one. Running now. Anyone is interested. It's just a little cutout leaflet. Thank you for looking at that. Okay, we're getting into the last couple or few items here that I have in my tote. I have been through a lot. I have a lot of fabrics. I have a lot of that stuff. So if you guys want to look through the store, if you do have call or anything you want to look at, please put it in the comments with like a question mark so I can see it. I will check pre-bids here in a second as well. I think I caught up with most of them. But this is Lacey's Sweater for Men. And yes, this is very worn. My grandma would make a bunch of these for my grandpa. But all of the patterns are still in here. If you want like a vintage, this is from 1950. So these are about, what, 75 years old. Very old. All the patterns are still in here though. You can still read them. There is some aging to this. But if you like making like knitted sweaters for anyone, my grandpa used to have a bunch of these. My grandma, I'm betting, made them. He had a bunch of these. I could definitely pull up pictures of him in these kind of things. This almost looks like my grandpa in this sweater, not gonna lie, when he was younger. But let's see here, what else is there? It's just all different patterns for like sweaters, and I forget what these called. What are these called? I forget what they call that, where it has just the sleeves. It's not like a vest, is it? But welcome in, Michelle. Running now. This is from the 1950s. 1950. So this is 75 years old. And like I said, my grandma did use this a lot. That is why it's a little worn, but all patterns are in there. Thank you for looking at that one. Special edition. I don't know why this is special edition, but we're gonna hummingbird. Okay, so this is, if you're into, it's for a pillowcase, but obviously you can use this on anything. It comes with the hummingbird. It has all the different colors down here that they used, not included in the kit. It has the pattern, has the colors, has all the instructions here as well. But then there's, I don't know what this is from. My grandma just slid it in here with it. I don't know if she had a design in mind, but it's a rose circle pillowcase and scarf. So I'm going to leave this in here. But like I said, this one has all the general information here. It has all the instructions on the printout. And then you also get an extra little cross stitch in there. So let me put this back in the plastic and we will run. Starting now. Thank you for looking at that one. And this is the last one. This is the Swedish, let me put this up. Doing last call because this is one of the last items. I do have a whole bunch of stuff still left over. If you guys want me to rerun anything from the tote, let me know. Everything is preloaded in the store. I will be checking pre-bids here in a second. I think I'm caught up on everything, but I will just double check. I'm just going to pin this item right here. This is Swedish. It probably came from Sweden because, like I said, my grandpa was Swedish. He came over here when he was 17, but my grandparents used to travel there a lot after. This is the vintage Swedish cross stitch patterns. There's not really any instructions or like, what is that noise? Someone has like a backup beeper. But anyways, this is the Swedish designs. They have other designs in here, like there's snowmen, there's geese, poinsettias, things like that. There's a Mary and Jesus, baby Jesus, and the three wise men. Here's some edgings that you can use. More bells. I actually have these in person. I have a bunch of these. There's Mary and baby Jesus and Joseph again. I forget what these are called. I don't think they're gnomes. I forget. There's a name for them. Candles, and then that. And then obviously there's the ones like on the front and back. But I'm going to run these. And thank you for looking at that one. Let me just double check that I'm caught up on all pre-bids. I think I only had the 2 today. But thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to pin something while I talk. If you guys want to look through the store, if you have any requests, please let me know. I do have a bunch of stickers and things in the bin if you want to grab them last minute. I do have little amigurumis that I've made. I'm going to pin that one. Let's just do that. Okay. But I do have more shows coming next week. I have a show this Friday. If you guys want to check out any of the vintage, I have my vintage shelves coming on Friday. Vintage decor, vintage. I have like glass pottery, knickknacks, things like that. That's my show on Friday. If you want to bookmark that, I do have, it's going to say, check out my shelves for next Wednesday. I'm going to have to switch that to another craft thing because I do have a bunch in this tote. If you want to bookmark that one again, I will be changing that one for next Wednesday here very soon, probably after the show. I'm going to be adding a bunch of handmade crochet items. I've already added a couple, into the bin. So if you are interested in any of that, just let me know. But yeah, thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for hanging out. I hope to see you in other shows. If you are interested in any of this crafting stuff, I am trying to keep my eye out for crafting because I do enjoy looking through this stuff, especially the older vintage stuff. It brings back a lot of childhood memories from especially things that my grandma used to make. But I'm going to find somebody to raid into if you could just stick around. We can just go, let's go here. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Make sure you to bookmark those other shows. Like I said, I'm going to change that one from Wednesday to a crafting show, and I'll move all this over there. I do have that show on this Friday. I'm trying to do 2 shows a week. I think I'm only going to do a couple shows of this crafting stuff, and then I might just put it in the bin. But thank you guys, and let's go.